Hello and welcome to the Gambling Files podcast. I am one of your hosts, 50% of your slick hosting machine, John Bruford, joined by your other 50%, Fintan Costello. Fintan, hello.
Hello, John.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Great. Busy executiving?
Very much so.
Yeah, I bet.
Delegating. A lot of delegating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The executive assistant working out well?
She's great. Yeah.
Do you wonder how you lived without her?
Basically. It's she's fantastic. I work for her now. That's kind of how it works.
It's probably fair. Well, I just thought I'd ask, just so I'd see how that project was going.
Yeah, it's good. No, it's a big part of my delegation thing, and no, it's going real.
Does this tie in with therapy and needing to relinquish control on some of the things around you, accept what you can control and what you can't control?
No, I've always been good at that. It's just taking too much on myself, or impatience of fuck it, I'll do it myself. It'll be quicker. So it's more basic management skills rather than a therapy thing.
I mean, I find it exhausting because I'm very detail oriented.
You are.
So
notorious for it.
And add a dash of perfectionism into that mix, and you've got a recipe for burnout.
You've got a recipe for a sexual panther. That's what you've got a recipe for.
Sexual tyrannosaur. Thank you.
Little arms.
Exactly. Exactly. Welcome back to the podcast. We're still here, still doing this. This is I don't know that I think this might be episode 201.
We're in the 200s anyway, for sure.
Yeah, we definitely are. I just can't remember what order I'm putting the next two out in. But
it's that attention to detail you were talking about.
Seriously, no. But thanks to therapy, I'm learning to let it go.
Do it so well. Like, it's really working.
I know. I'm feeling so free. But it's a good time to acknowledge magnificent sponsors. I describe myself as a sexual tyrannosaur, Fintan described me as a sexual tyrannosaur, but really that label goes to our sponsors, who are, in no particular order, Clarion Gaming, entirely unrelated to our guest on this episode, although he does work there, who organise ICE and iGB Live, which is in London this year in July, early July. It's exciting. We also have Optimove. Mm-hmm. What do they do, Fintan?
Optimove is the gambling industry's #1 CRM tool. So over 50% of there's a new EGR Power 50 list. So I'm going to have to get the stats checked. But is it out yet? It's coming. We'll have to do a data refresh. But yeah, the majority of the brands on the Power 50 list use Optimove, and basically they use it for a reason because it's the best. So very straightforward.
It's definitely not shit.
Definitely not shit.
Yeah, we've had a demo and we were both like, "Holy cow, that was pretty good."
Yeah.
And last but obviously not least, we have Odds Matrix.
Odds Matrix. From Evermatrix. They are a white label sportsbook, and they can deal with the big tier 1 brands, which is unusual for a white label. Usually it's, you start off with a white label as a small brand and you kind of work your way up, but Odds Matrix are the real deal, global, plug you in, take care of you, upgrade your product, give you all the markets, give you all the bets, everything you need to do to run your sportsbook business. But really good guys, really nice, really great to deal with, and again, they're fantastic. Go get the demo.
I think it's worth pointing out as well that we're not like a Premier League football club where our due diligence is has the check cleared, great.
No, we're not.
This is when we accept sponsors, it's an endorsement of them as businesses, as suppliers, and as people.
I thought you were going to say lovers. Okay.
And And
it's one of our riders.
but I think with Fintan being a top executive, with me being the detail-oriented perfectionist, that it's that as endorsements go, I mean it's a ringing one. It's a ringing endorsement.
Like Odds Matrix are phenomenal guys. The software is brilliant. Like they do like over 1 million bets a day, and they're like every day there seems to be a new announcement of new stuff they're doing. They've just launched micro markets, and they've there's just tons and stuff. They're really really pushing the product. And if you want a sports book or you're sick of managing your own platform, give them a shout.
But that endorsement, I mean, Optimove, they've got OptiLive, phenomenal bit of kit. And Clarion Gaming, organising events, they're really good at it. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot.
But Optimove and Odds Matrix are compatible as well. So a lot of Odds Matrix clients would use Optimove.
Excellent.
Synergies.
I like what you did there.
Yeah.
If I'd done those in reverse order, we could have gone, and our guest today is from Clarion Gaming. But we didn't. We did that. I missed a trick there. I'm sorry, Fintan. I'm an amateur. It's because I'm letting go of those details. Do you know what I mean? But I've got to do it, Fintan. Otherwise, I'd just be burned out. You can't burn like the sun 24/7, because if you do that, nobody gets any sleep.
True. I'm glad you said it.
Yeah, I did. We're joined by Alex Pratt, and we're going to talk about how ICE was, my issues with ICE. Fintan accuses me of being a Karen, which I know some really nice people called Karen Fintan. Not called Karen Fintan. That would be a really odd name. But I know some really nice people called Karen Fintan.
Okay.
And, it's an unfortunate allocation, that name, I think. And in 2 generations, nobody will be called Karen anymore. It will become some exotic title that nobody's like, what? That's a name? Really?
It's like the way the name Hitler just kind of died out. That kind of thing. Just for very different reasons.
Yeah, but similar-ish. But anyway, we talked to Alex about the future and stuff, and what we're doing at ICE 2026.
We're already making plans.
And sponsorship of that plan is available. Enjoy the episode. Here's Alex. We welcome back a returning guest. He's been on multiple times.
Yeah.
Entirely unrelated to his employer's position as a corporate overlord of this podcast. It's a complete coincidence. We'd like to welcome Clarion Gaming's Alex Pratt. Alex, welcome.
Thank you, John. Nice to be back. Feels like home.
I'm really sorry that it feels like your home must be awful. I'm so sorry about that.
I have no comment.
But
it's fine. We're all happy.
Now, see, it's like Fintan can say what he likes about his place because he knows full well his wife's never ever going to listen to this podcast.
Never going to listen. Ever.
It's scary how many
she hates
people...
me. I don't know what it is. She's just not interested in me.
She's heard all my stories. Like, there's nothing I can say that she hasn't.
She genuinely never listened or watched once?
No.
Oh my God, you need to get your wife on, just for an insight into Fintan.
I know.
Your wife and John's ex-wife, it could be brilliant.
Actually, when you put it like that, I think that'd be hilarious. I don't think we can ever publish it, but it will be hilarious.
Yeah, I must say that I'm washing my hair that day.
Oh, we're not invited. I think we just give them the microphones and let them crack on.
Fuck. That I like the creative thoughts behind the project, but let's focus that creativity somewhere else.
It's a guilty conscience, Alex. That's that's a man with secrets. Oh dear.
No, not really. I'm a fairly open book. It's just, Anyway, so Alex, couple of things we've got to talk about. I'd like you to resolve all of my personal issues with ICE.
Good, because we're all about customer feedback.
It was, if anything, it was too good. And can you tone down how good it was next time?
Yeah, I mean, you do. We have set ourselves up for pressure. That is, it's a worry.
Without turning this into a love fest, I was blown away. I really didn't think it would be as good as it was.
I mean,
no, I think everybody said much the same as that. In fact, somebody put it really nicely to me. I was skeptical, but came away convinced.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think even internally we weren't skeptical, but we were surprised. I think definitely surprised about how well it went and how smoothly. And I think one of the best quote is our CEO, Lisa, came in and was like, "This is Clarion. Like, how can we own this?" And it was like no other event I think certainly I'd run or been to. It was just immense. I remember going the day before when no one was in there, and I walked in and I just thought, oh my God, this is too big. Like, how can it even feel? It's just so big.
Everything, but all the stands were bigger. Is it because there was more space available, or how did that just? Because it just felt like everybody's stand was significantly bigger.
Yeah, I think a mix. I think in London we'd been wall-bound for a while now, so no one and because they wanted a position but didn't want to move to go bigger, it meant a lot of people were restricted. But you also had a lot of the land-based companies bought their Spanish machines, so a lot of street gaming machines. So they expanded to actually include more product because we're suddenly going to have a ton of Spanish operators attending, and then others like Zetro, they bring more of their Latin American machines. So you saw a lot of more, I guess, product that wasn't just European-centric. Made a big difference. But yeah, definitely a lot of people expanded their stands, but then there's quite a few new people in there as well.
Yeah. It's funny. I bumped into somebody from one of the industry publications, and he said, last year, like loads of these companies just had really, really tiny stands, and suddenly they've got huge stands. Clarion must have done some serious deals to get them to expand like this. I said, Clarion won't have done any deals that that.
Gave it away all free.
No, that's it. But they don't have to have done any deals. It's just they've got so much more room, so those businesses can have the boost that they wanted. They would have been restricted before by, legacy stands from other businesses that had been there longer or whatever. Because seniority is a thing in organization, isn't it?
Yeah, and then the other thing is it's first of all, we're priced annoyingly, but I guess through scale it doesn't matter that much. But we're priced a lot cheaper than I think just about every other exhibition in the market. So actually adding square meters on is not. It's a small percent of your overall spend in terms of like the event, so that doesn't impact it apart from obviously your build. But on the same side as that, I guess, is that through a lot of that analysis, building stands, rigging, hotels, all those things are much cheaper in Barcelona as well. So actually, it'll be interesting to see people's level of spend compared to London, whether they actually spent more, spent less, or spent the same, to see where they got their value. And it is a question. I haven't got the data here, but one of the questions we ask is around value. And certainly on both iGB Affiliate and ICE, the value they received went up year on year. So hopefully they either spent the same money, but either way they're getting more value, which is good.
Well, it's like, I know, okay, I wasn't obviously exhibiting, but as an attendee, it was definitely cheaper.
Yeah.
So flights were cheaper, hotel was you know, good. Staying in a good hotel was cheaper. Nights out were cheaper.
Oh, dude, I did flights and hotel for like about £450, which It's fantastic.
The interesting bit, which we haven't got back yet, is we've done another economic impact study. So I'm fascinated to see what that's going to say in terms of versus London, both spend in the city, but also revenue generated for those Spanish companies.
I think every taxi driver in Barcelona was busy.
Yeah, but
The
people in
complaints-
restaurants,
the complaints
bars.
from the locals about the taxis, the amount of
Yeah.
taxis heading out.
But it's really interesting that because it's something. Now we're in a city working with Partnership with the City, and maybe it's only interesting to me in my normal small world. But so in London, obviously taxis turn up or don't turn up. With Barcelona around that area, we have to work with the police and work with the unions to make sure. So one of the things that people didn't understand, no matter how many times we told them, is do not use Uber or Bolt outside the venue. It will not come. It is blocked from that area because if we don't block it, the local taxi companies will protest and not come to us, and then no one's getting home. So we kept saying use free. I think it's free now, and people tend to use that more often in Barcelona anyway. So it's small things like that that help you have that relationship and bring the revenues to the city, and then everyone's happy and delighted. And it's like making sure the right taxi stops are in the right places in order to create traffic flow and not upset the locals. So I think if you upset the locals, you're never welcome back. And the key is, that we're bringing revenue to that city. I want to get, I was speaking to Ever earlier, who just was at Mobile World Congress, and God knows if we can get this, but Telefonica did a report. It's in Spanish. I need to translate it, but they tracked all the Mobile World Congress attendees after they left the show around Barcelona, so they can create heat maps of what restaurants, what areas of the city. I'd be fascinated to see where gaming hangs out at night. And I don't know how. I mean, it's beyond me how you do that from a technical perspective.
You're just finding all the brothels.
That is.
Is
they
there a
are the old
spearmint
days,
rhino in
Fintan.
Barcelona? I'm not sure.
I think you'll find most people hang out in nice piano bar restaurants these days.
We were in me and John went out for dinner, and I would say every table was gambling industry.
Yeah, it was. But then anywhere you go in Barcelona at that time of evening is going to be non-Catalan or non-Spanish, aren't they? Because we went out at like 6 or 7 o'clock.
Yeah, well, yeah, but there was
So I think if you when you review the economic impact, the timing of the economic impact is also going to be significant, as in the time of day.
Yeah.
Because I know I was in a restaurant on the Monday night, and the owner came out and he's like, "What's going on? We're full on a Monday. We're never full on a Monday." And it's just, is that kind of like there was definitely just more people in town.
Yeah. No, and it will be interesting next year by having been there already and shown, do you know what, it wasn't this scary. Like there was a lot of misunderstanding in the city, in the government, that we were opening almost like a casino, a giant casino that were attracting people to gamble. No, we kept saying it's business, it's technology, et cetera, jobs, innovation, responsible gambling, all the stuff that we stand for. But now we've been there and they've seen actually, it is what they said. Plus we can say, look at the money we brought. We can then start to really lean on some of those relationships to start to create a much, I guess, better experience in the city.
The city's going to embrace that because the impact was colossal. Like Fintan says, every taxi driver you spoke to, they were like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah,
the hotels,
brilliant.
The restaurants, everybody was feeling it. Everybody knew that there was something going on, but I don't.
There
think
was a
they
lot
were
of
prepared
people
for it.
There was a lot of people, but one of the comments somebody said to me was like, "Everybody's here to do business."
Yeah.
And it was, I think that was really interesting because they were like, and he said like, I go to a lot of the conferences and a lot of it's there to be.
Yeah, by 2:30, everyone's drinking.
But here, everybody's here to do business. Like we're doing deals. And I think for me, I think that the big one that jumped out was the gambling industry in the UK has been so negative for so long. And it's been such a negative story in the UK, government white papers and what's going to happen with this and affordability checks. And it's just been such a negative, horse racing is dying and such a negative drumbeat. But when you walk around ICE, everybody else is having great crack. Like business, the industry is booming.
Yeah, and I think,
and it was in
I
anything.
think, yeah, and I think there's a something to Eva again earlier. So Eva did a lot of the work around working with the associations, the charities, the local government, particularly in Spain, but she's kind of been there in the UK as well. And I think both the event in terms of its positioning in the market, but also our mindset of running the event, we start to see it as this platform that it is. I know it's an event, but actually there is a platform where, look, we had 40 odd percent more regulators. There's 300 and something regulators there this year. There's we've got funding now, and we're starting to build out this legacy program, this ICE Research Institute, where we're investing in lots of different types of research around not around technology, but very much around responsible gambling. And it starts to be actually, okay, it is buyer seller, but actually starts to create this platform, I think, for the sector to be able to have difficult conversations and actually be able to, I don't know, organize ourselves, but also have a window that shows this is the entertainment sector, this is the technology sector, this is something to be proud of. And I think before, maybe it was London, I don't know, I think it was half our mindset of running an event. We just thought it was an exhibition, and it still is at its core. But I think also just being given permission to be more than an event, with support from various associations and government bodies, that suddenly allows us, I think, to have a different position, a different voice, and to be more of a partner, which probably sounds a little bit ambitious and fluffy, but it makes me more excited about what the event can be. And actually, when I think about giant scale events like CES or Web Summit or any of those types of events, they do act, or South by Southwest, they're more than an event. Nice, John.
The categories. No, but I love that level of ambition. I think that's what it should be, and it should be the like South by Southwest is a good idea. Like that's a good example, or like bringing the best of the world together in one place as a proper landmark. It's absolutely pinned in the diary, and you have to be there. But that platform that lives on, because if ICE is a once a year, it's that platform that lives on for the other 11 months, which I think is huge. Super smart, really smart.
Funny you should mention South by Southwest, Fintan, because there's South by Southwest London now.
Yeah, it's coming.
And I think the marketing director for that is a lady called Claire Hill. And Claire used to be marketing director for Universal Pictures. And it was Claire that flew me to Detroit.
It's always an M&M story. It's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. It's just like...
So I'm glad to be able to mention that again today.
Are you friends with Claire? Because I'm trying to get a free ticket for the London event.
I know Claire.
Could you ask her if our producer could have a free ticket, because he really wants to meet some of the speakers for ICE? That'd be good. Thank you.
Remind me after I press stop recording. But we've got to resolve some of my issues first. So, Alex, I had some issues getting into the venue. Now,
literally,
you could argue that it's my fault.
I did.
Well, you're a twat.
It was ridiculous.
Did they not know who you were?
And I asked them. And I had even taken the trouble of learning that very expression in Catalan and Spanish for just such an occasion. And no, they didn't know who I was. I should have been wearing a podcast T-shirt, Fintan. That would have probably helped.
They'd have seen the logo and recognised it.
Yeah, they'd have been like, oh, we didn't recognise your dome, Mr. Bruford, coming in. No, the getting in part, that probably was my fault. Well, no, I'm going to blame.
Which bit was hard though to get in?
Well, I went to the entrance, I went to one of the entrances, and the bloke, there were people sort of filtering you in before you got in.
Oh, the fence bit,
which was a bit weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and this bloke's like, "Have you got your pass?" I went, "I'm going to get it in there," and he said, "Oh, well, have you got your QR code?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, you can't come in then." I said, "But I'm going to get it in there." "But you can't." "But how do I get in then?" and he checked with it. Did you hear the dog just then? Can you
Yeah,
hear
I
the
didn't
dog?
know what it is, motorbike or your
I
tummy.
thought it was an airplane or something going overhead.
What the fuck is he doing? And he says, checks with his mate, and he comes back to me and he goes, right, you're gonna have to walk around to the other entrance and try that. Now it's quite a big building,
Yeah.
so I had to walk around the other side, which was the other side of the other side. So it's quite a long stroll. I mean,
See, that's good feedback. We'll make sure that changes. It's supposed to be a soft, I don't know what you call it, soft security, because at Mobile World Congress, they probably fence that bit. No one comes in, and that's to stop like your pickpockets and everything, because everyone's stupid attending a show and easy to steal. So you should be able to just blag your way past that bit.
I'm always looking out for pickpockets because I know that they've always got good stuff to steal. I wait for them to do their job.
That other
and I take
entrance
them
was
around
my
the
top
corner.
tip.
Like, come on.
That other entrance was my top tip. Is like you go straight in through the side there. There's no one there, no queues. There's actually there was golf carts to take you there.
Well, I got there a little bit late because I thought let's avoid some of the queuing because know it's going to be manic early doors. And and so I go around the side, and then I got helped pretty much straight away, and it was all all fine. And it was basically I couldn't get to the email because Outlook and Yahoo had stopped integrating the week before, so I couldn't get to the email. It was absolutely bizarre.
We found Yahoo Mail's last user, is what's happening.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh, it's not just me. Still a
My
very popular
girlfriend's
service.
Hotmail's last user, I think, as well.
Fintan, it's
10 megabytes of storage.
It's still big in Albania.
Is it? Good.
But anyway, so then I did that, and then I walked over to the cloakroom bit, right? And everybody there was quite busy except for the lady on the far side, and she waved me over. So I went around the little queuing snake and got over to her, and she said, "Can I help you?" I said, "Yeah, I'd like to give you my coat." She said, "Oh, we're full." And I said, "I'm just going to give you like a top tip here and say you could have told me that when I was at the other end of the queuing thing, rather than getting me to come through here for you to tell me that you can't help me."
But the comic timing's way better this way.
It really was. I mean, I if it had been deliberate, I'd have been like, chef's kiss and a hat tip, possibly at the same time. But that was weird because I thought, even if it's Barcelona, it's still winter and people are still going to be wearing coats.
Yeah.
It's mostly a pre-registered show, so we're not talking about an unprecedented number of coats.
I mean, I've got no idea, but I'm
going to have to bring this up with Alex.
I'll check what happened with the cloakroom.
Honestly, I went straight on TripAdvisor and complained.
Interesting. I was just looking at our survey. What were the survey highs on the God knows how many people, quite a few thousand that filled out, and registration was one of their highs. So I don't think you did well there. One of their lows though was navigation. So maybe it's maybe
actually,
we put that in the navigation
suggestion.
bucket.
I've got a suggestion to help you with the navigation, and this is a genuine one.
Yeah. Okay.
So it took me a little while to find a map, which was weird. I could have done with a map to the maps.
Yeah, we want you to go online. We want to track you.
Yeah. But there's all every.
Yeah, there is. They're everywhere.
Not where I went in, there wasn't. But anyway,
billions of them. Probably
I think John went to the wrong event.
The thing with the maps is, it was the one with all the butchers.
Anchovies.
Then the fishermen. Yeah, I was in the right place. And the beach. No. What the map needs, and this is dead serious, is it shows you where everything is, all well and good, but what it doesn't explain very well is where the different halls are in relation to each other.
Oh, interesting.
Where you get to if you leave one exit, where does that put you in relation to the other hall?
I'll have a look at it. I haven't looked at the map for a while, but to be honest, there's a really good wayfinding app. So if you scan a QR, you can literally it will be like Google Maps, and you can just set in where you want to go.
The hall numbers were in sequence. It was like if you go one way, it goes up, and if you go the other way, it goes down.
It's a good point.
Fintan.
You're not a Boy Scout? No.
You have to know where you are in order for that to work effectively.
There
And
was
that's the
signs
problem.
everywhere.
Listen,
Oh,
I am making
God.
a perfectly valid point, and it's a very small point that could change things for
You're
people,
being a Karen.
especially first-time visitors.
You're being
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
How is
We'll
this
look
being
at
a
it.
Karen? I'm making a positive suggestion.
I
It's not
think-
being a Karen.
I don't know.
I think
Karens
well,
have hair.
Alex, you just weren't there to hold his hand and just bring him around the entire show.
That's what I needed, like a concierge. I needed an
Oh.
executive assistant.
You're all the rage.
Damn it.
All the rage.
No, there was one actual mistake. Not many people noticed. I didn't notice. I thought it was great.
Allowing
But
Fintan
apparently, when you come in, when you come past registration, you go into hall 1. No, not 1. I don't even know. Into 2 and 3, the first iGaming bit, and you go through that weird black curtainy thing with. There's quite a cool like sprayed logo in smoke. Well, apparently that room and they apparently spent tens and tens and tens of thousands on that dark corridor, looked very different on the screen that they got shown it on before it got built, which ended up just being some black draped curtains and some lights and a kind of bumpy sound. But it was supposed to be really experiential and crazy walking through there. That did go wrong, but I thought it was great. I thought it was really nice.
It only went wrong if you'd seen the artist's rendition rather than what it was. Because I thought it was easy and it was fun and it made sense.
I like the smoky light.
But you're so busy just getting to where you get to, you don't pay attention.
Yeah.
Like you're
And I love the walkway at the top.
Yeah, that was super useful. But with the travelators.
Yeah, it was wicked.
Being
really
able
good.
to hammer the travelator helped a lot.
Yes, that was excellent. And once I figured out that existed, everything was much easier.
No, but it's interesting. We've got now, for the people that did download the app to use the wayfinding tool or the online map, we've now, and using, if you log into the Wi-Fi, we can now start to track movement in the show. So we've got heat maps of where people stopped and stand, and we can also look at if you stand still for, what we said, 2 minutes, that classes as an engagement. But we've also got scan data as well, so we can start to see real and do it minute or hour or whatever. And it's so interesting to see how people navigated the show, because they all fly into 1 and 2 and they're like, ugh! And then they come back, get on the travelator, and then and that thing, once they got used to it, it literally was just dropping people. But the most interesting is, and this is one of my lessons to everyone, is when they say, I don't want to be at the back of the show, the highest, reddest area is at the back, because everyone just goes there and they goes, oh, this is the end, and then slowly comes back through into various places. But yeah, it's fascinating to start to see where people go and what they do and how long they spend and which stands were more successful than others.
It's super useful for exhibitors as well to kind of get a sense of how many people did come to the stand.
Exactly. And the idea, not for now, but there's 2 ways that makes me excited. One is you could create a real-time dashboard, much like you'd have you running a digital marketing campaign, so you can actually see like how traffic's flowing, what people are, what scans you're making, what people are dwelling on your stand, but you haven't scanned them. You could also look at, personas. You could say, I'm targeting heads of compliance, and you see what they typically do at the show and where they go. You could also look at if you're selling, make it up, payment software. You could look at how you benchmark against other payment software companies, which I think is because it moves the conversation from us going, oh, ICE is really good, buy a stand, and someone says, well, but it didn't work, and actually we know it works, we know the traffic's there, we know this person worked and that worked, but yours didn't, so let's talk about what did you do before, during, after. And so the conversation becomes more like an agency or partnership beyond like arguing over whether the show works or not. And then the bit I'm more interested in is if I can connect that data to our website data, I can start to look at, and it's the holy grail of like attribution, because I want to be able to show that by running, obviously, because ultimately it will mean we take more share of wallet. But if I can show that by engaging audiences pre-show through our digital assets, that they read this article or clicked on that banner or went to that webinar, whatever it may be, that then drove their experience at the show, and we can then re-pick them up, look at their online activity post-show, it becomes very interesting and a big opportunity and something no one's doing.
Is there the potential at the show, like, because one of the big benefits of the venue, apart from the fucking size of it, was like some of the simple infrastructure shit. Like the Wi-Fi was good for I mean, it
Yeah,
was
we
good
spent
for
a
everybody.
fortune on it. That's
Well,
why.
good, but it really needed it.
Yeah.
But it was a huge bonus, and it means that the app is useful instead of
Yeah.
just another shit thing on my phone that I'm not going to open because the Wi-Fi is shit at Excel. And I'm a huge fan of Excel as a venue. Don't get me wrong. But is there the potential then with the use of the app is undoubtedly going to be greater next year as well, especially now Fintan's fucking told me off for looking at a paper map. But is there the potential for the and I don't mean this in a negative way, so just take the word at face value, to be able to use the app to manipulate traffic in a way. So for example, if you're looking at real-time data and you can see that there's, for reasons unknown, a relatively cold spot somewhere, only relatively cold, could still be nice footfall, but if there's somebody there, they might want to do some kind of a time limited promotion, come to our booth, have a free lager, have a go at our game, do something in the next 2 hours, go into a prize draw or whatever. Is there the potential to do real-time stuff through the app that will sort of manipulate
definitely.
traffic?
I think we need to look. There's always been that anyway, and typically at events I've run, especially it's harder at big scale events like ICE, but smaller ones, sales guys are like, can you do an app push? Can you do a email? Can you do a tannoy announcement that they're doing? And it's like, well, no, because we'll be doing it 300 times, and actually as an attendee, they're not interested in if you're giving away a Lego set on that stand. So I think there's definitely ways that we can use real-time data to drive a better attendee experience that hopefully will then ultimately mean that they're finding the right exhibitor, which means the exhibitor's happy. And we've done that. I've done that at shows where we just have like the happy or not buttons. And we know that we suddenly could see in our data that people aren't happy at registration. So we know we need to quickly get down there and put some more people on it and things like that. I think we need to think about why someone uses an app. I think what we're finding at ICE is it isn't necessarily the networking side. It's more navigation, but I think that's not because they don't want to use it for networking. It's just because it's not very, if I'm really honest, it's not very good at finding the exact people you want when you've got 60,000. And that, if you talk about machine learning or AI, it doesn't have enough time to learn. So one of the things we are testing, looking at within Clarion, and because we've got multiple events, we can, rather than having to wait every 3 months or every year to test this type of technology, we can use it at different events, is around like a co-pilot that will almost sit, actually, John, much like you'd like in EA, that would understand you as a person and what you're looking to achieve at the show, and will start, and by you providing it information, but there has to be that exchange value. At the moment you give us information, you're not going to get the value, but it will start to design your show and do all the things for you.
But the thing is, it's actually, okay, without oversimplifying, so I think to get what you, so the ICE gaming website doesn't have a login.
No.
Right, so a login,
but we are tracking you through.
You're tracking me, but if you add the login, and then the login is the same login as the app, then you're linking up the web activity that you want to, like we're doing a webinar or doing blah, blah, blah. So you can then link the web registration and the app to the person. Really.
Yeah, I think we can link you without, and this is getting into that hardcore, but I think because we drop a cookie on you, we know our Pardot cookie or whatever it is, I'm sure, and because we have you as a registration, we have you as we can follow you between everything.
But it's even neater if it's just a login. It's easier because it's first-party data. I've got to give you all my details anyway to register.
Yeah.
When I register, I tell you who I am. It'd be very easy, why are you, like, you could get a little bit more granular on like what I want to see or the types of companies.
Yeah, and we collect that, but I think
that gives you the seed list, right? So if I've put in Sport Radar, you know the companies that are like within their competitive set. I'm not picking out, just you pick, like, I'm interested in payments, right? Well, look, here's the 10 payments companies. They're all in this area. And then these are the LinkedIn profiles of the head people. Yeah. So if you wanted to do some networking before the event, So it's because where I've seen the networking apps go wrong, and I haven't used your one, but it's typically just like it's a lot of salespeople trying to
loads.
fill meetings and just outbound. If you flip it like Hinge, where I don't have to do it anymore, but like the whole point of that was the lady had to make the first move.
Yeah.
If you flip it, that's so the visitor has to make the first move, otherwise it doesn't count. You could give them, okay, look, here's the companies, here's their, here's the key people, here's their LinkedIn profiles, and here's a little bit about them. And, you could pre-book a meeting, book a time slot, maybe send some messaging or set up some stuff before ICE. So it'd be relatively, like, that's not complicated dev work.
No. But imagine if we got it complicated.
Like the thing
it
is,
would be amazing.
No, but it sounds like you've got all the bits and pieces. It's just connecting it, just joining it up a little bit more, and that user journey, I think, is the key bit. But I think that'd be super powerful.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of opportunity. I think events are just starting to move from the ancient Greek marketplace to there's some stuff called technology here, and then the opportunity is massive. About how we use it and don't use it, and
I'm looking for a white label provider of blah. Well, here's the 20 people exhibiting, and here's the 50 people attending in this space.
And that's the vast majority of people coming to events. I guess you talk about it going to do business. They are coming to either solve a problem or meet with the people that already solved their problem, and maybe they can. And so there is a need.
Yeah,
it's just trying to connect that need with the people that can solve it.
And it'll be self-selecting, right? So not everybody's going to use it, but there's enough there for the people who want it to kind of crack on and get started.
Yeah.
Or during the, you're like, oh shit, actually I wouldn't mind seeing something in blah 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 space, which is where your co-pilot I think works.
Yeah.
Of like, hey, turn left here and head down 3 boots, and there's a load of stands that do all that.
Exactly.
Which would be
exactly.
Really cool.
And it's super early days, but if you can start to have it's I think the issue we have at the moment, when it's a free event and the value you get back from the information you put into your registration is low, it means you as a buyer or as an attendee, you put less effort to be providing accurate information. And we don't want to make the registration forms super, super long. So it's a balance of doing that right.
But if it's free to attend,
I say this every time, but those marketers, they like they like it short.
Yeah, big. Make the button bigger.
They will inherit the world.
Let's go.
So you presumably now it's March, as we record this. Everything's full steam ahead for IGB affiliate London. No, IGB London.
IGB
London
Live.
Thing. I knew there was a second word.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a combination of just summing up. I mean, Barcelona still, we're still selling that, and actually rebooked 80. I mean, it's something ridiculous. 88% of the show was rebooked, which is because we expanded. On site. Well, we have a ton of people on something called an evergreen contract, which is an 18-month cancellation. So I think something like, don't quite remember, somewhere between 50 and 60% had already pre-booked the show back in sort of October. Okay. It's a very clever thing that a very clever consultant came in and put in, but it can only really work because people. Anyway, it's a long story, but so about 76% of the floor plan next year is sold. So there's a lot of folks still getting that done, and how the hell are we going to top it? And then IGB Live London, which is really exciting, I think, because it's London in the summer, and we haven't done an event in London in the summer. We've got a big job to do to show people why Excel can be a great place to visit in the summer. But actually, they've spent a ton of money on this dock edge. So IGB Live will be facing out onto the river, and all along there now they've put in loads of restaurants and bars. We're going to bring a great big boat up alongside and put events on in there, and so it should be. I think it's going to be brilliant.
This sounds perfect for that audience.
Yeah.
Because like if you look at Amsterdam
Right, he's trying to replicate Strandzud, and we're like, well,
But,
we've got a
but
river. Let's bring a
but
boat.
no, but with actual customer service,
Yeah,
and then like it was taking him like 2 hours to get a drink, kind of thing. It was just ridiculous. Like at some point, like it got super weird there. But if you can do that with actual tables or like actual like
yeah. I think it will be
it'll
because I
absolutely
think I think the event at its core is brilliant, and it's found itself a really lovely little niche where people genuinely love it, and I think it's got some history there and some brand. But what the challenge is we have to show London is the right place versus Amsterdam, which is difficult because people loved Amsterdam. And I think we can do it. We did it with Barcelona when everyone said actually it wasn't the right decision. So I'm hoping we get the same type of feedback that, oh, I was skeptical, but it was really good. And I think the other thing is I think it opens up us to a ton of new attendees from UK, because UK is still a gigantic home for gambling employees. And actually, we did have a 59.4% drop off for ICE London versus ICE Barcelona of UK attendees. So those guys need somewhere to go. And we've got the home for them. So I think we'll maintain and keep those Europeans, but actually I think we'll scoop in a lot of those UK guys that haven't been to the show before. And I think it's changed a lot in the last 10, 15 years. So yeah, really excited to see how that goes. And then we've got a whole bunch of other deals we're doing on the side to make it even better.
Ooh.
Hopefully we can announce at some point.
Ooh.
We're hoping to make some announcements ourselves, aren't we, Fintan?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah, we've got big plans. That's why when we were at ICE, we were planning to take over the world, basically.
I did come up with an idea.
Oh, what's that?
For ICE. So you know the way like every
It's supposed to be for the podcast.
No. So you know the way like a lot of the stands have like coffee areas,
Yeah,
bars or whatever, right? You can have this one for free. I reckon if the Gambling Files was to do a stand, or I was to do a stand, I would do a dark stand. All right. So it'd just be a big box. It would have like generic logos along the side.
yeah.
You wouldn't like just like slots and pictures like of lemons or whatever, slot machine kind of imagery and stuff like that. There'd be a secret entrance with like a secret knock, and then inside full on speakeasy, no fucking about. Job done.
Amazing.
And it'd just be the secret stand.
Just
and
you and John.
Like, just me and John. Well, just me. John doesn't drink. Just me getting fucking hammered on the Negronis.
But that means I'd make a great barman.
It'd be like in the corner out of the way. You wouldn't even know.
Exactly. You just need it. You could buy the space we can't sell right in a corner.
Exactly. And then just turn it into a full-on cocktail speakeasy lounge in the back.
That should be amazing. I mean, highly risky, but if you build that as a brand that shows, the challenge is always to find whatever the brands. And it's a bit like in the old days where the microgaming bar was just renowned as like, that's where you go, that's where you meet. And it will just be this secret bar, and at every show there is a secret one. And even if there wasn't, you could say there was. They just never found it.
You just walk.
You've been doing it for years. Have you never found it?
Anybody asks, you're like, yeah, it's invite only. Sorry,
you're not in the club. Black card membership only. Sorry.
But you did actually. You said that idea at ICE.
I did.
And it is a terrific idea, and it would be on brand for us, I think.
It'd be very on brand. It'd be the most anti-stand ever. But we'd have all the best.
Do you remember? Maybe slightly controversial, but well, actually not anymore because they don't exist. But Wirecard, great Netflix documentary. But when Wirecard were in gaming, and I think Uega had just come in, and I remember at ICE, I wasn't working for Clarion back then, and they hadn't set up their stand because of all the controversy around it, and they just had a black carpet and then a logo on the floor that just said Wirecard was here, and a single light that just pointed onto their logo. I was always like so impressed with that.
You don't have to worry about a P&L. You can get away with a lot.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. So anyway, so me and John are kicking around ideas for a Gambling Files stand at ICE. We're working on some stuff.
We can do a media deal.
Yeah, could you do us mate rates?
Yeah, of course.
Well, we did use your podcasting booth. That was fantastic.
Did you? Which one? Oh, the
IGB
silent
one, yeah.
Yeah. How was that?
Really good.
Really good.
Really,
Amazing.
really good.
Really good.
But I had a slight technical issue with leads. I left a key lead on my desk, which is the fucking microphone lead. And so Roger Gross very kindly let us use his gear.
Very nice. Well, Roger is a very nice man.
Yeah, that was absolutely priceless. He was, and he sent me the files later on, and I think we put the episode out that evening.
So Roger Gross is your executive assistant,
executive producer.
My God, I would never claim that. The dude's a legend. When I first met him, I was like, "Holy shit, you're a legend." He's like, "Am I?" Yeah.
He's got an incredible history, and just like starting in the casinos and just the people he knows and who he's worked with is just amazing.
Yeah,
should get him on here.
Good show.
Might ask.
Good show. So what else you got going on, Alex?
Yeah, what's going on?
Can't be more than there's more than friends, right? What else?
Well, no, we continue just to focus on those core events, and then on the digital side, no, it's really exciting. I think I said, I don't know when it was, 2 years ago, we completely re-looked at our whole digital setup, and that's iGamingbusiness.com, now GG Magazine, IGBaffiliate.com, and all the newsletters. And we, I guess 2 or 3 years ago, took a view, and it's not really a view, but banner ads and all those types of display advertising are going the same way as print magazines, although our print magazine continues to do well in gaming. Who knew? Gaming seems to, even though be at the forefront of technology and digital growth, also likes to read a print magazine. But yeah, so we took a view to really look at that business model, built an entire new tech stack, moved all the websites onto a different platform, and really focusing on lower volume, campaign-driven partnerships. So without getting too boring, it's much more about, rather than just selling you inventory, whether it's a webinar or a banner or an advertorial or whatever it is, it's actually, look, let's work with you as a customer to look at actually what you're trying to, like an agency with, what are you trying to achieve? Like, is it brand? Is it leads? Is it, and who are they from? And let's build a campaign, often to those thunderclap moments that are live events, not just ours. It might be SBC or Sigma or G2E. And so we're probably about a year and a half, 2 years into that journey, and it's been amazing. And we've got job titles of people I've never heard of, and now understand that you would normally have in a digital business of product managers and data analysts and all sorts of really clever people. That means our traffic is going absolutely nuts. Our newsletters are getting better. Our products are constantly evolving, being designed, and we're making more money, and actually delivering really cool results for people. And you can look at things like that slot trumps that we did with Every Matrix, and different campaigns like that, where it dawned on me when I was speaking to, I don't know if you know the agency called Receptional, just in there, and I was talking to him about, and he was like, what you don't understand is you own the data, you own the platform and the data. So actually just putting the agency methodology on top, and then I think it's just light bulb moment of actually first party and zero party data is actually the most important thing to our business, whether it's in live or digital, and actually how we can then use that to drive results for customers. So yeah, a lot of it's around that. And then trying to look at how we can create an ecosystem that links our digital and live, so no one ever wants to leave, whether it's through brand loyalty, the technology that we have, or high switching costs. So we're going on a big journey, but I think the last 3-4 years, Clarion Gaming it's just changed so much. It's really exciting, and I think it's not just for the gaming sector, but it could be replicated in other markets, but only where you have, I guess, the size and scale of these products, but also like permission from the market, which is why I keep coming back to being a partner to the market and how we can add value rather than just take money from it. But no, it is really exciting, really exciting. No acquisitions on the forefront, no. So it's all just organic and hard work.
That's good. That's really good. And the
Busy
passion comes
times.
through. The passion comes
It is.
through, which I love. I love the energy.
Well, it's just
It's good.
it is interesting. It is interesting. I just think these products, you can either just do the usual, which is like, and especially in gaming, we talk about this. There's a lot of money in it. The market is still growing pretty fast. There's still, I mean, look at the amount of events and websites, and that's changing, but there's still a shed load of them. And there's so at the moment we could just sell banners and webinars and make a load of money and grow at double-digit % a year.
John, write that down.
But one day money is going to run out, and actually at that point we need to make sure our products and our platform and our people and our processes are right at the forefront, so actually we are that first choice. A lot of it's defensive.
The best
or
defense
preparing.
is a good offense, right? But it makes sense that there's a lot of events.
I mean,
right?
so many. But that's I think I'm starting to see the change now. We're getting customers phoning us now saying, actually, I'm going to pull out this and that, and I need to see value.
It's too much. There's too many events. You could literally just spend your life just traveling to event, see the same people.
Yeah.
We're in a different part of the world right now. So there has to be some sort of consolidation or rationalization in the market. I think that's inevitable.
Agreed.
It's not sustainable. And as a marketing manager sitting there with an event budget, like there has to be a point where you're like, okay, what is the ROI of that one?
Yeah.
Like, show me the sales that came from it. Show me the meetings. Show me the payback on this. Do we need to send that many people? Do we even need to be there? Why can't we call them the week before?
Yeah.
Why do you need to be there for that week? Or why do we need? So I do think that's going to change. But I think the challenge as well is it's a bit like being an affiliate. The barriers to entry are so low. It's like anybody can claim to be an event organizer.
And there's ones announcing all the time. New ones. Like I saw one I saw in Morocco, another one in London in May now, another one in Transylvania, and I'm like, my God, like just keep going. I'm like, how is there more?
You rent a conference room in a hotel, and it's 5 meters by 5 meters, and you've got an event on, and you shout about it.
Because genuinely, if I left Clarion, I used to say a long time ago, right, what would I do? I could see some gaps in the events and maybe the media. They're not gaps now. You're just taking advantage. I mean, there is some very niche small gaps that I think, but they'll keep those secret in my head to never be launched. But they're not gaps. It's just, I'd love to see their value proposition of what they're doing differently, what pains they're helping people with, or any of those things. It does feel very much just following the money, but maybe I'm a bit negative.
It's tough. But it's the barriers to entry are so low, so there's always going to be an upward pressure. Which is why everything you're doing just makes so much sense from a business perspective. Like it's absolutely the game plan, which is awesome.
No, it's definitely fun. It's never boring in gaming.
No, it's not, is it? There's always something.
Anybody listening or watching, if you've got any thoughts on the Speakeasy project, then get in contact.
I'm not joking, John. Someone will sponsor that.
There's a very good chance we'll be doing that at ICE 2026. But also, Fintan, we could get some of the... I'll save that for when we're not recording, but I've got an idea.
It's swag, people, not drugs. Just to be clear.
No,
He's got
Fintan,
a swag idea.
It's how we stock the bar.
Oh, okay.
Alex, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and Alex will also be joining us on something new very soon.
Ooh.
Yeah, can't wait.
If you've enjoyed this episode of the Gambling Files podcast, please find us on LinkedIn. Give us a big, juicy, succulent like. That nearly went wrong. You can find us under the name The Gambling Files Podcast. You can find us on Twitter under The Gambling Files. I think the handle is just @Gambling Files. You can connect to myself, John Bruford, or Fintan Costello, also on LinkedIn. We're also both on Twitter. And you can find all of our previous episodes at www.thegamblingfiles.com. If you enjoyed it, please share, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your colleagues, and we'll see you next time.